Hey guys, this is Tara Macklin. I'm hopping in here to talk to you guys about hormonal birth control and the myth that it actually is going to help you with your PCOS. Now, there are some women that benefit from it, and there are some smaller symptoms that you might see be rectified by it. However, in the long run of your PCOS, because mind you, your PCOS doesn't go away, birth control may actually become a hindrance. Guys, I was a long-time user of birth control. So if you're using birth control, one, I'm not judging you. And two, I'm just putting out information to hopefully help you. Three, don't just stop taking your birth control without consulting your physician. You've got to come up with a game plan while also getting to that stage. So there are some reasons why a physician may put you on hormonal birth control. One, they believe that it's going to cure your PCOS, when that simply may not be the case. But two, if you're going in there with irregular cycles, this pill is going to regulate your cycles, right? So it's going to put you on a monthly flow every month. And in theory, it'll teach your body this is what it's supposed to do. And in theory, you will then start to have regular cycles once you are removed from the birth control. However, that's not really the case. And for most of us with PCOS, our biggest problem is that we don't ovulate, and therefore our cycles are irregular because of the lack of ovulation. What's the one thing you don't do when you're on birth control? You don't ovulate. That's the whole premise behind birth control, right? Is that you're trying to prevent pregnancy, so therefore you're preventing ovulation. Well, yes, there are those people that do get pregnant while on birth control, and there are reasons for that. Most of us, the whole premise is to prevent pregnancy, and therefore we are preventing ovulation. So there are actually some consequences from being on birth control, and you can read the pamphlet. They talk about a lot of those things, but they usually don't talk about the ones that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, especially as it relates back to PCOS. For many of us women, we have a hard enough time managing our symptoms, so taking something that could potentially exacerbate them isn't really sound like a good idea. At least it doesn't to me, and I wish I would have known, but I would have known. But you know, hindsight is what it is, and so of course I'm out here to try to help you guys maybe gain a little something that I wish I would have learned sooner, right? So one thing that you may not realize, or you do but just don't really think about, is that these hormones are synthetic. Because they are synthetic, they are basically made to do exactly the same thing in the exact same way all the time, under, in theory, under every condition, right? However, that's not how the human body is made. So having something that would be more bioidentical would be more ideal. And that's just not what birth control is. So also being synthetic, therefore makes it an endocrine disruptor. Your body is already endocrine disrupted. So now you're going to introduce something that could potentially disrupt your endocrine system that much more. So, and there are consequences for that when you do that, which is what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. So one of those things is inflammation. In particular, there is a type of driver for PCOS women that is actually an inflammation driver for PCOS. So if you fall underneath this category of women with this type of driver, hormonal birth control is not going to be something that's going to serve you, unfortunately. It has a tendency to raise your cortisol levels, which when you have elevated cortisol levels, then you're going to have raised androgen levels. You're going to have more issues. If you are someone who's high in DHEA, then you may see that you're going to have more adrenal dysfunction. So that's something to look out for with the hormonal birth control. Another thing is digestive issues, which this was me that popped up over time. And again, I didn't think anything of it because I actually have family history of some digestive medical conditions. And so I just figured I was following in the genetic path of my family. However, I didn't realize what I didn't realize, but now I do. So actually, by increasing inflammation in the gut through taking hormonal birth control, you can actually set yourself up for IBS or some even more expanded digestive disorders. When you actually have problems in the gut, then your body cannot absorb what it needs to absorb. So the nutrition that you're lacking, the antioxidants that you might be lacking, the keeping good gut health by having good microbes in your body, they get depleted through hormonal birth control. And so that actually goes into another problem, which is actually getting in the nutrients. It is common for women with PCOS to feel like they need to supplement in one way or another. And that's because we're lacking in so many different B vitamins, which is why a lot of times women get put on a multi-B or have to get like a B vitamin shot in the doctor's office. It will keep your body from actually keeping the good gut bacteria around, again, with the inflammation that's being caused from the hormonal birth control. You can have other problems that develop, like leaky gut and things like that. So bear this in mind. When you have more inflammation in the gut, it makes it harder to absorb. And then even if you supplement, your body won't take it in. So you have to address your gut. It is a must if you're on hormonal birth control to take care of your gut through food that are probiotic in nature, or you can also go grab supplementation. There's supplementation forms for that as well. But it's super, super important. Start with food first. Guys, sauerkraut, brine pickles, kombucha. There's all kinds of things out there. Just go out there and do a deep dive and start introducing those foods. And if you're not seeing the increase, then going and grabbing a probiotic is also a good handy thing, which I do a little bit of both. I don't just rely on one or the other. So another thing is that you can actually worsen your insulin resistance. So 70% of PCOS women are insulin resistant, aka like pre-diabetic. It kind of flirts in that area when you're insulin resistant. So we talk about food and stuff a lot, but when you have something that's making that insulin resistance worse, that's not serving you, and it will probably actually make you more frustrated at the end of the day. So while I do feel that if you are on the pill, definitely, I always feel this way, addressing the food that you are eating is key in thriving with PCOS, just in general, but especially if you're on hormonal birth control, and have that all in place so when you are ready to wean off of it, you are already in a better successful state than waiting for when you just stop taking the birth control. But mind you, that it can worsen, which is also another reason why many of us get put on things like metformin to help us regulate our blood sugar. So there's definitely some different ways to go about doing that with the eating styles that are out there. I like having a nice balanced plate. That's just my jam. So but you'll have to kind of dig in and figure out what's going to be best for yourself. If you are looking for ways to actually go about this naturally, make sure you guys check out the group that is linked down below, so that way I can better help serve you. And if you get a chance, make sure you're hitting subscribe, so that way you guys can keep checking out the different myths that I'm going to reveal on a weekly basis in here about PCOS. And I hope this served you today, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.